Millie and the Magical Darkness. Friends, do you know that feeling when the lights go off in your room at night and suddenly everything looks different? A shadow stretches across the wall, the chair looks like a huge ghost, and you'd rather hide your head under the blanket? Well, that's exactly the kind of evening Leo had today. But he had no idea that something extraordinary was about to happen. Something that would change the way he sees the dark forever. Just like every evening, Panda Millie was sitting on her soft, fluffy cloud, holding a book in her hands and telling stories to children. Her voice floated through the night sky, and as the children listened, tiny stars began to appear one by one, first one, then another and another, until the whole sky was glowing. But suddenly Millie stopped in the middle of her story. She felt a little ache in her heart, something strange, as if someone was very sad. She placed the book on her lap and whispered quietly, "Something is happening on Earth. Someone needs my help tonight." She put on her special headphones so she could hear the whispers of children's hearts. One little heart was beating faster, as if calling for help. That was Leo's heart. "Leo," she whispered, "I can hear you now. Don't be afraid, my friend. I'm coming to you." At that moment, her little cloud began to move. She flew over the nighttime city until she spotted one small window. "There you are, Leo," she whispered with a smile. She floated down on her cloud, right to the window where a boy lay curled up under his blanket. His eyes were shining like two frightened little stars. Leo sat up in surprise when he saw a panda, a real Panda Millie, sitting on a cloud outside his window. For a moment he just stared at her quietly, then he whispered, I know you." Millie smiled softly. "Really?" "Yes," Leo nodded, his eyes lighting up. "Every evening I listen to the stories you tell. Mom always says that when I listen to your stories, a new star lights up in the sky." Millie smiled gently. "Yes, that's true," she said. "But tonight I heard your heart calling for help, and even your star was shining a little differently. What happened, Leo?" Leo's face grew a little serious. "You are right, Millie. Tonight I was a little scared," he admitted quietly. "The dark is so big, and I'm so small, and sometimes I hear and see things in the dark that probably aren't even there." Millie reached out her paw to Leo. "Come with me, I'll introduce you to the dark." In that moment, they began to float. They flew above the nighttime city, and around them stretched the quiet darkness. Millie said, "Look, Leo, the dark is like a big theater stage. It's empty, quiet, and waiting to see what will appear on it. Leo looked around curiously and said, "Like a stage? But there's no one here." Millie smiled. "That's exactly it. Anyone can imagine whatever they want there. You, me, anyone. Some people see a little creature playing hide and seek. Others see stars that guide their way. Each of us plays our own story on that stage." Leo was silent for a moment, then said, "And what if someone is afraid? What if they put a monster on that stage?" Millie looked down and said, "Yes, that can happen. But you know what? The monster isn't there because the dark is bad. It's there because someone imagined it. And when you stop feeding it with fear, it disappears on its own. You can even change it in your imagination. Turn it into a funny little creature that waves at you." Leo smiled. "So I get to decide what appears in my darkness?" Millie nodded. "Exactly, Leo. Each of us has a little light inside, and that light shines on the stage around us. When you shine with curiosity and joy, the dark turns into a beautiful show. Darkness is like a friend who adapts to your thoughts. If you give it a smile, it smiles back. If you give it a fear, it hides in a corner. Darkness only reflects what you carry in your heart." Leo looked up. A tiny star appeared in the sky. He said, "Millie, look! That's it, my star!" Millie replied, "Yes, exactly. Your star grows along with you. When you listen to bedtime stories, when you dream, its light shines brighter." Leo thought for a moment. "But how did I make it shine?" Millie answered, "With every story you listened to, every smile, every feeling you had. Everything you feel sends tiny sparks up to the sky, and those sparks come together to create the light of your star." Leo looked at the star for a while. Whenever he smiled, it glowed a little brighter. Then he said, "So, even when I'm afraid, I can make my star shine by looking at things differently." Millie nodded. "Exactly. Every feeling is like a tiny spark. Even fear can turn into light." Leo smiled. "That's strange. I always thought the dark was full of shadows, but it's full of light." Millie laughed it softly. "That was beautifully said, Leo," she added. "And now it's time to go back home." When they flew back into Leo's room, it was quiet. Everything around him was familiar. The pillow, the blanket, the little night lamp. Yet Leo felt as though something had changed. The darkness in his room wasn't the same anymore. It was soft, peaceful, like a stage waiting for a new story. Leo yawned, curled up under his blanket and said, Thank you, Millie, for not leaving me alone with my fear. Thanks to you, I understand now that the dark isn't an enemy, but a place where the stories I imagine can unfold. Millie smiled. Exactly, Leo. Every night when darkness falls, a new stage opens, and you decide what will be played on it, a fairy tale, an adventure, or a peaceful dream. Your thoughts are the actors, your feelings are the music. Leo smiled softly and nodded. Then tonight I'll play a dream about flying, he whispered sleepily. Millie answered quietly, That will be a beautiful performance, Leo. Millie returned to her little cloud, which carried her back to the starry sky, and she continued telling her stories. So, my dear friends, today Leo discovered that we don't need to be afraid of the dark at all. Now it's your turn. On your very own stage, play a dream exactly the way you want it to be. All you have to do is close your eyes and not be afraid to dream your own dream. For today, goodbye from your Panda Millie.